Hello.
Hello, Sonia.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Hello
it's HG Tudor. HG Tudor is the creator of Knowing the Narcissist Ultra series. We've talked before. Thanks for joining us this morning, HG. Really good to have you. We had a really interesting conversation before. You gave us so much insight. Very, very popular series that you have online. And first of all, for those who don't know, why aren't you revealing your identity?
The reason I don't reveal my identity, Sonia, is because as a diagnosed narcissistic psychopath who talks about my worldview and that of people similar to me, it would cause me problems in my professional work if I were to reveal my identity. So I don't show myself and I operate under a pseudonym. That way, I protect my identity and can do what I need to do in my professional and private life, and at the same time allow people to receive unrivaled information about narcissism and psychopathy. So it's a win-win.
It is a win-win, and people are very, very grateful to you. And it's quite a strange feeling for some people, because they come to your channel for help in oftentimes dealing with the aftermath of having dealt with a narcissist, and they're looking to you for help, which they receive, and they're very grateful. I read your comments, and yet by the same token, they're like, it's a dichotomy for them, because they're taking help from a narcissist in dealing with a narcissist. But who knows a narcissist better than a narcissist, right?
Exactly right. Well, it's akin to, if you were looking at your home security, you could ask a police officer for tips on how to defend your house. You could ask a home security expert, or go and ask a burglar. And the burglar is the one that really wants to get into your property and knows all the tricks of the trade. So similarly, coming along and asking a narcissist, how do I deal with a narcissist, is the most appropriate way. I understand the way that my kind think and operate, and provide that information to people in a way that they readily understand. And so getting rid of the confusion is paramount for people, to enable them to understand what happened to them, the practical tips they can take to move forward, and of course, enabling them to understand, don't do this, it's a fool's errand, because too often there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, which causes people to propagate myths about my kind, and it just leaves them going down a route which is completely fruitless for them.
Yeah, we've got a slightly choppy line there, HG. People are worried that there's some interference. So, but let me read you some of the comments. Freckles, super interesting. Had a few narcissistic people in my life before, got rid quick. Well, you're one of the lucky ones, Freckles, because some people deal with them for a lifetime. They're everywhere, narcissists, says Luggerbugs. Yes, absolutely. This man is great, says Crone. I've heard him before. Yes, he is, and we love him on. And I'm so grateful that he could join us this morning, because it's really important. Look, HG, I mean, narcissism seems to be, over the last 5 years, the new buzzword, but it's not a new thing at all, is it?
No, narcissism has been around since we were running around on the grasslands, hunting and gathering. It's formed in Homo sapiens, and it's a survival mechanism for us. And of course, what has happened is that really with the explosion of social media, it's become far more prominent for 2 reasons. One, social media allows more people to talk about narcissism, so there's a greater dissemination of the topic, but also it allows us a platform on which to get to more victims. Back prior to social media, ensnaring people was basically about meeting them in bars, meeting them in certain hunting spots. Now, one can sit behind a computer console like a virtual fisherman, sticking hooks into the water, into cyberspace, waiting for a bite, and then pursuing that. And of course, the reach is global. Yeah. And so it has led to an explosion of it in terms of more people being affected by it and a greater awareness. Yes, it is thrown around a lot as a word by people to describe certain behaviors, and one has to be careful that it just doesn't become a catch-all for somebody who behaves like an arsehole. Yes. But the important point is that it goes the other way as well, is that so much behavior that is narcissism is diluted and euphemized by people saying, oh, he's got an anger management issue, or she's highly strung, or she's high maintenance. Right. And, oh, it's a twin flame dynamic, which describes the dynamic actually between narcissist and victim. And so often you will see instances of so-called experts in relationships saying, somebody writes in, you know, the Dear Deirdre letter, my husband, yada, yada, yada. And one reads that and thinks, yep, you're dealing with a narcissist or highly likely to be a narcissist. And then back comes the answer, which doesn't mention narcissism, doesn't mention any clearer advice, and indeed offers the wrong advice, such as you need to find more things to be interested in together, or perhaps if you loved him a little more, it would all work out. And of course, that's complete bunkum when it comes to dealing with our kind.
Yeah, exactly. Because nothing is ever good enough. And you know, I know this, yes, because I've dealt with many narcissists. And what's interesting,
absolutely,
many narcissists, especially in my profession, and you point this out, that there is an overabundance of narcissists in public life, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's right. Those are honeypots for us. Narcissists, whether aware or unaware, seek out four things. I call them the prime aims. So that is, we must control people. There's different ways that's done. We need something called fuel. That's basically the emotional output of other people, whether it's making a cup of tea for us or saying, I love you. That provides us with validation. Character traits that we can acquire for ourselves and use for our benefit, and residual benefits, which includes things such as giving us a facade, giving us money, right, great sex, a lift in a car, somewhere to live. There's lots of different residual benefits. So the narcissist is geared up to seek out those things from our victims. Our victims are appliances that cater to those four things in varying degrees. Public life allows tremendous access to those things. First of all, it gives a platform to reach lots of people. That means lots of people can be controlled. Lots of people can be obtained fuel from. Fame or infamy provides the basis perhaps for leverage for creating a brand of some description, to flog perfume to people, or a particular fashion line, or obviously to be an entertainer to millions of people to earn lots of money. So the adoration, and also the fact that there will always be people who won't like you when you're in public life, well, that's just fuel as well. As I regularly explain to people, yes, that from our perspective, it's love me, hate me, but never ignore me.
Right. So it's all fuel.
So people thrive.
Yeah.
It's all fuel. So for example, take a Premiership footballer who is a narcissist. He scores against the opposition. What does he do? He runs in front of the opposition fans, cupping his ears to them, giving it large, and they're all giving him the hand signs and questioning his parentage, etc. And he loves every minute of it. Why? It's fuel to him. It validates him. It makes him feel hugely powerful. Makes him feel like a colossus in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, it's so funny. You should be seeing the comments. They're all coming out with all these famous people who they believe to be narcissists. And no one has yet said who I believe is probably one of your number one narcissists. Obviously it's only an opinion, but HG is of the opinion very much so. And actually, I think you're a diagnosed narcissist, aren't you? And yes, the Tudor scope, which is sort of your what is it? Describe the Tudor scope.
Well, based upon my own extensive experience of what I am and dealing with a lot of narcissists in my family, socially, and of course I advise people in relation to it, I have a very high level of expertise of being able to identify people who are narcissists. And I don't just bandy the determination around like confetti at a wedding. I undertake a scrupulous process of looking at evidence over a period of time. That has to be done. You can't say from one act alone that somebody's a narcissist. That's merely an indicator. Right. So I look at all of this evidence over a sustained period of time, evidence from lots of different sources, both private and public, because some of these famous people I've met myself and dealt with. And then I make a determination. I put them under the Tudor scope and I determine, is this person a narcissist? And if they are, I explain why. And thereafter, what that affords individuals is that once you've established somebody as a narcissist, you can interpret their behavior moving forward through that prism. So often people will go, you often hear people go, such and such did this, who on earth does that? Well, the simple answer is a narcissist, and here's why. And it gives you a key to unlock the understanding of the behavior. So you might think to yourself, this person, they had it all, a huge house, lots of money, beautiful wife, and he threw it all away, running around with some cheap scant hoe. Why did he do that? The answer is the person's a narcissist, and then one can explain why it happened.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are saying, can narcissists know they're narcissists?
Yes, it's a small percentage that do know that they are. Most narcissists are unaware, because that's the way that the self-defense mechanism has to work. It doesn't allow them to know what they are, because if they did, it wouldn't function properly. they'd hesitate in their actions and not get those prime aims. But certain narcissists, myself included, and there are others out there, some who are rather famous as well, know precisely what they are and they know why they're doing it. They won't necessarily call it fuel. They will perhaps just call it attention. Fuel is my description for it. But they will know why they do. They know that they manipulate and they get off on doing so. And so they know what they are. But the aware narcissist does not go around saying to everybody, oh, hello, I'm an aware narcissist. I only tell you that because you don't know who I am. I don't go around in my private life going, oh, hello, I'm John Smith, not my real name, by the way. No. I'm a narcissist, because that would be giving control to the other person and giving away my power. But yes, there are some narcissists that know what they are.
Right. Rebel says, why is my wife on here with a disguised voice? And Emma says, it's not your wife, it's my husband, and that's his voice. So clearly people are dealing with it. But, you know, on a very real level, how do people deal with narcissists? And obviously there are different kind of narcissists in the workplace. There's narcissists you're married to, you know, that you narcissistic children, narcissistic friends. But is there a sort of a baseline of how to deal with narcissists?
There is. I mean, first of all, how do people deal with it? The starting point is often badly, as a consequence of not understanding what they're dealing with. Yeah. So the first thing is you need to ascertain where the behavior that you're experiencing is abusive, causing you to question yourself, is diminishing your self-worth, where you're thinking, why did this happen? I don't understand. You might be dealing with a narcissist, and you can utilize my expertise, come to me and put that person through for an assessment. Or you can read my work extensively and perhaps make your own determination. But I'd encourage you to come to me as the expert. So the starting point is, are you dealing with a narcissist? Then if you are, you must obey the first golden law of freedom, as I call it, which is once you know, you go. You get out and
once
you stay out.
You know, you go. That is important.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And thereafter, you impose a total no contact regime, which means you stay away from the narcissist and you keep yourself away from the narcissist. You don't spend time with the narcissist. You don't communicate with the narcissist. You don't do things for the narcissist. You don't sit around talking about the narcissist with other people, and you learn to drive them out of your head. And I have a range of techniques to help people do all of that. And that's what I do in consultation. Now, often people say, well, that's all very well, HG, and I understand the principle, but I can't. Well, often when they say I can't, they mean I won't. So I would talk to some people and I say, you need to change your telephone number so the narcissist can't contact you. I can't. Say, why? Have your fingers fallen off? Can you not dial your provider? Can you no longer speak? No, you just won't, because something called emotional thinking is acting as a buffer. Other people will say, well, I've got children with the narcissist. Now, that is one of the most difficult situations.
It is.
But it's not an impossible one. Yeah, but it's not impossible. And I have a specific package called How to Co-Parent with a Narcissist, which explains to you how you can actually get to a no contact situation with a narcissist. And if you can't, for instance, because a court order says you have to have some involvement, and of course you can't disobey that court order because you don't want to end up in the Alabama slammer. So in those circumstances, it gives you a range of tips and techniques to minimize the involvement so that the impact upon you is far less than it is. But essentially, the way to handle a narcissist, the way to win the war with us is never to fight it, is to stay away from us and ensure that we can't get to you. And if you put up a pretty good defense, most narcissists will move on to somebody else. The reason that many people are tortured by the narcissist is because they don't understand what no contact is. People say to me, HG, I'm in no contact, but he keeps texting me. I ignore the text, but how do I make him stop? That's not no contact if the narcissist can still text you. Right. So there's a lot of information that I provide that helps you get to that go-so position. So I help people get out and I help people stay out.
Absolutely. Not a couple, there's loads which we're not going to have time to get through, but Jangir says this guy is top notch, which is exactly why he's here with us, because I think it's so important. That's said like a true narcissist, HG. I think it's so important that we have an insight into, well, dealing with these people, and they are of a kind. D. Hall wants to know, do they know some see them and can't bear them?
Do you mean, does that mean that the narcissist sees another narcissist and doesn't like them?
No, does a narcissist, no, I think what they're asking is, does a narcissist recognize when other people who aren't narcissists recognize them as a narcissist and can't bear them? Do they recognize that?
Yes, Yes, the narcissist. So, for instance, an unaware narcissist will not accept that they're a narcissist, but they will pick up on the fact that they perhaps seen through the behaviours and is acting differently towards them, and that will threaten the narcissist's control. So the answer to that is yes.
Right. Interesting. And the other one is, and I know you've covered this before, but just for our new viewers, nature or nurture?
Both. So it's a combination of a genetic predisposition towards narcissism allied with something called a lack of control environment during when a person is a child, first 9 years of life. And if you've got those two things that come together for the right amount of time, then a narcissist is formed. If one of those factors is missing, no narcissist.
Right. Everybody, this is HG Tudor. Please check out his series. I hope you're going to join us again, HG. I think what you have to say
I will do. Always a pleasure to speak to you, Sonia. So let's talk again in the near future.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. HG Tudor, and I will put links to your series in the description at the end of this stream, HG. Take good care of yourself. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye, Sonia.
Bye. Bye. See, how insightful is that? I mean, that can save a life.